Yo, what's good, y'all? Ricky Rubio, Minnesota Timberwolves point guard and now Utah Jazz point guard, traded from the Timberwolves to the Jazz for a first-round pick. This happened just a few hours. No, I would say like an hour before me recording this. By the time you see this video, maybe a few hours, but the main point is Ricky Rubio, a guy that's been in trade rumors forever, it seems like. I mean, years and years, we were like, okay, trade deadline's coming around. Are the Timberwolves trading away Ricky Rubio? Well, this was the year. And they didn't even do it at the trade deadline. They waited until the offseason. And it's pretty clear why. I know it might seem a little weird if you're looking at this at first and saying, okay, they gave away Ricky Rubio for just a first-round pick. That's Jazz first-round pick. So what's the big deal? Why? I don't understand, why are they giving him away for just nothing? Well, obviously, it was to get his contract off the books. Ricky Rubio, clearly not the point guard of the future for the Timberwolves. They're trying to build a playoff and contending team in Minnesota. They got a few pieces with Jimmy Butler coming in alongside Cat and Andrew Wiggins. And now, getting rid of Ricky Rubio, not only does it give you an open slot for a new point guard to sign, which is a position they've been looking at quite frequently this offseason, or, we'll see tomorrow and during free agency what they do about that point guard spot. But Minnesota, the point guards, they're looking at a ton of them over there. And, I think that this move, depending on who you get, could be genius for them. You look at this Minnesota Timberwolves team, this is a position of need for them at this point. And the reason why they were looking at point guards before Ricky Rubio is just because you get rid of Ricky Rubio and then you got this contract space. Ricky Rubio took up a lot of cap. Now you got the money to spend on a solid point guard that's probably got a good shooting ability or defensive ability or both. But most likely shooting. That's really the biggest concern for this Timberwolves team right now. And the players I saw that Minnesota is supposedly looking at for the point guard spot are Kyle Lowry, Drew Holiday, George Hill, and Jeff Teague. To me, Kyle Lowry and George Hill make easily the most sense. They probably will be the most expensive, but they both offer, and all these point guards offer an interesting look. Because Kyle Lowry, yeah, he's the best player out of those four right now, but Kyle Lowry and George Hill, they're on the wrong side of 30. Barely, but they are. Okay, so they're probably going to be edging out of their primes in, a few years. And I don't know how long you're going to want this player, but if you're going to sign Kyle Lowry, if you're going to sign George Hill, you're probably going to want them on a pretty significant contract, which will extend 4 or 5 years, most likely. And Kyle Lowry, you're going to have him on your squad till he's 36. I don't know if that's the best idea, especially because by then you're probably going to want a new starting point guard, and you're going to be paying Kyle Lowry a ton of money, and, depends on what the cap space looks like at that point. But, those guys, they're older, and that, getting them is fine, but it really puts you in contention mode. You're really trying to go for it all, and it doesn't really leave a lot to be desired in the fact that, well, what if you come up really short and you're only like an 8 seed after you get this guy? Then you have a lot of questions because you signed this guy on a big deal and he's going to be here for a while, and how much cap do you have to sign somebody else? Honestly, this was genius by the Timberwolves because they got a ton of space here. So not only could they sign one of these point guards, but they're also going to make a few more signings with, to have to do with their depth because they've got 3-4 starters filled out. I think Wiggins, Butler, Towns, obviously there. Gorgie Jang is most likely going to be starting again because he's shown he's a real quality player. They don't have a point guard right now. That's the big position they're looking at, is that point guard position. Kyle Lowry makes a ton of sense. George Hill, I think, may even be better. Not sure, but he might just be the best possible fit. George Hill is an awesome point guard to go with a really good core of, wing players or big men. You know why? Because he's so smart as a point guard. He's got the 3-point shot down, so he spreads the floor. He plays real good defense, and he's not ball dominant. He lets your stars, do their things. And yeah, he can create a play for himself when he needs to, but he's not going to dominate the ball all game long. That's why you have Jimmy Butler. That's why you have Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins. Those are your stars and your guys you're building around. George Hill could come in there. He'll play a role, and he'll do it well on both sides. Jrue Holiday is, he's a guy that he can score the basketball. He can shoot the 3 ball. He's a good playmaker. Defensively, he's not really that much of a weapon on that side of the ball. So I think that if you miss out on those 2 guys, Jrue Holiday should be also a good target because he's a guy that can shoot the ball. But this team, you want defense. You want defense and shooting. That's clearly your goals for this point guard position, because this Minnesota Timberwolves team, they're not a very good defensive team. They weren't last season. So you want defense, you want shooting, because that's what you're lacking right now. And George Hill gives you that, and I think that's a great target. Kyle Lowry as well, he'll do the same thing. Only problem is, those guys are on the other side of 30, and we'll see, what's going on with that. But I'm hearing a lot about Kyle Lowry and the Timberwolves. That's looking more and more likely. And if the Timberwolves get Kyle Lowry or George Hill, are they done after that? That's the main question, because I think they will make a few more moves. If they get another star, I mean, it's really far-fetched. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Probably not. But man, Timberwolves they got the cap space right now to do something big, and signing that point guard will be probably that. And then, you hit up a few more role players that can play on your bench, that can help fill out your bench, and you got a really, really solid squad. This Timberwolves team, things are trending up for this Timberwolves team. Now let's talk about the Utah Jazz. And it's really hard right now for the Utah Jazz, or at least to evaluate the Utah Jazz, because at this point, the question of their future is completely in question. You have Gordon Hayward, who's looking, he can return to Utah, but Boston, Miami are big targets for him. And you just really don't know about him. And George Hill is as good as gone, probably. You just acquired Ricky Rubio. Unless you want Ricky Rubio for your bench, you're paying him that much on your bench. There's really no reason to have him, have George Hill there. So now things are looking a little bit different. I know Ricky Rubio can help out, and he's a guy that's good in terms of getting the ball in the hands of stars, shooters. And yeah, you got Rudy Gobert there to hold it down. He's your franchise right now because he's locked in. You don't know about Gordon Hayward. But if Gordon Hayward stays and you have Ricky Rubio here, I think that makes some sense. I really can understand that. You gave up a first-round pick, which, maybe that's not that valuable to you at this point, as, you guys are doing pretty good. You don't expect to be in the lottery next season. Shouldn't be, but if they lose Gordon Hayward, then you never really know about if something like that happens. But with Ricky Rubio, I think this means they're preparing for Gordon Hayward to be back, and, maybe they get some more depth at shooting guard. I don't really know what their situation is right now for that, but I think that this trade is not that big of a deal. The Wolves trading Rubio basically just to get that contract off the books. The first-round pick, which is the throw-in pick, doesn't really mean a whole lot. Both of these teams, I really think the Timberwolves win, because I don't really know what Ricky Rubio's value is to their team, what he's really done to make them think, okay, this guy's worth keeping, this guy's going to help us win a championship someday. I don't really have that impression from Ricky Rubio. Now, when it comes to Utah, you don't give up a whole lot, but you get a quality point guard. You're taking on more money with this guy, but I guess you're getting rid of George Hill anyway, so maybe it all evens out. It doesn't even out, but, it helps. The damage is a little less with that, but it also means you gotta, find somebody else to play with this guy, and you're banking on Gordon Hayward coming back. If he doesn't come back, then this team, things don't look so good. Things look good a year ago. Things wouldn't look so good, if they can't get Gordon Hayward back. That's what it all depends on. That's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment what you think. What do you think about this trade? Who won this trade? What do these teams respectively look like for the future? What is this? What is the end game here for both these teams? What do you guys think? Who made a good trade? Who made a bad trade? That's it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.